Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture for the course Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. Today we will see the chapter that is Compound Vapor Compression System. Myself Sumit Bardia, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Edra. Today we will see the following points such as Introduction, multi-stage or compound compression. In that we will see the flash gas removal using flash tank, multi-stage system with flash gas removal and intercooling, use of flash tank for flash gas removal, use of flash tank for intercooling only, choice of intermediate pressure, and lastly complete multi-stage compression system. A single-stage vapor compression refrigeration system has one low side pressure on the evaporator side, that is evaporator pressure, and one high side pressure, that is condenser pressure. The performance of single-stage systems shows that these systems are adequate as long as the temperature difference between the evaporator and condenser is small. However, there are many applications where the temperature lift can be quite high. The temperature lift can become large either due to the requirement of very low evaporator temperatures and or due to the requirement of very high condensing temperatures. For example, in frozen food industries, the required temperature can be as low as -40 degrees Celsius, while in chemical industries, temperatures as low as -150 degrees Celsius may be required for liquefaction of gases. On the higher temperature side, the required condensing temperatures can be very high if the refrigeration system is used as the heat pump for heating applications such as process heating, drying, etc. However, as the temperature lift increases, the single stage systems become inefficient and impractical. So here the figure shows the effect of decreasing evaporator temperatures on TS and pH chart. It can be seen from the TS diagram for a given condenser as evaporator temperature decreases. If you see here, we can see the throttling losses increases here. Throttling losses increases. Superheat losses increases. Compressor discharge temperature increases. Quality of vapor at the inlet to the evaporator increases. Specific volume at the inlet to the compressor increases. As a result of this, the refrigerating effect decreases and work of compression increases, as shown in this diagram. The volumetric refrigeration effect also decreases rapidly as the specific volume increases with decreasing evaporator temperature. Similar effects will occur, though not in the same proportion, when the condenser temperature increases for a given evaporator temperature. Due to these drawbacks, single-stage systems are not recommended when the evaporator temperature becomes very low or when the condenser temperature becomes high. In such cases, multi-stage systems are used in practice. Generally, for fluorocarbon and ammonia-based refrigeration systems, a single-stage system is used up to a evaporator temperature of -30 degrees Celsius. A two-stage system is used up to -60 degrees Celsius and a three-stage system is used for a temperature below minus 60 degrees Celsius. Apart from high temperature lift applications, multi-stage systems are also used in applications requiring refrigeration at different temperatures. For example, in a dairy plant, refrigeration may be required at minus 30 degrees Celsius for making ice cream and at 2 degrees Celsius for chilling milk. In such cases, it is advantageous to use a multi-evaporator system with a low temperature evaporator operating at minus 30 degrees Celsius and high temperature evaporator operating at 2 degrees Celsius. Next slide is about the flash gas removal using flash tank. We have already discussed that one of the problems with high temperature lift applications is the high quality of vapor at the inlet to the evaporator. This vapor, called as a flash gas, develops during the throttling process. The flash gas has to be compressed to condenser pressure. It does not contribute to the refrigeration effect as it is already in the form of vapor, and it increases the pressure drop in the evaporator. It is possible to improve the COP of the system if the flash gas is removed as soon as it is formed and recompressed to condenser pressure. However, continuous removal of flash gas as soon as it is formed and recompressing it immediately is difficult in practice. One way of improving the performance of the system is to remove the flash gas at an intermediate pressure using a flash tank. So here figure shows a schematic of the flash tank, and next figure shows the expansion process employing flash tank. A flash tank is nothing but a pressure vessel wherein the refrigerant liquid and vapor are separated at an intermediate pressure. The refrigerant from condenser is first expanded to an intermediate pressure corresponding to the pressure of flash tank, that is PI. Here this is flash tank pressure. Using a low side float valve. That is process 6 to 7, low side float valve. The float valve also maintains a constant level of refrigerant in the flash tank. In the flash tank, the refrigerant liquid and vapor are both separated. The separated liquid at point 8 is fed to the evaporator after throttling it to a required evaporator pressure PE. So that is 8 to 9 is an expansion. Using an expansion valve. Depending upon the type of the system, the saturated vapor in the flash tank is either compressed to a condenser pressure or throttled to a evaporator pressure. In the absence of flash tank, the refrigerant condition at the inlet to the evaporator would have been 0.9. As mentioned, the refrigerant liquid and vapor must be separated in the flash tank. This is possible when the upward velocity of refrigerant vapor in the flash tank is low enough. That should be less than 1 meter per second for the refrigerant liquid droplets to fall back into the flash tank due to gravity. Thus, the surface area of the liquid in the flash tank can be obtained from the volumetric flow rate of refrigerant vapor and the required low refrigerant velocity. Next slide is about the multi-stage system with flash gas removal and intercooling. Now here both the figure shows a two-stage vapor compression refrigeration system with flash gas removal using a flash tank and intercooling of refrigerant vapor by a water-cooled heat exchanger and the flash tank. So this is water intercooler and this is flash chamber. It is assumed that in this process the superheated refrigerant vapor gets completely desuperheated and emerges out as a saturated vapor at point 4. So here it is. The use of combination of water cooling and flash tank for intercooling reduces the vapor generated in the flash tank. The performance of this system can be obtained easily by applying mass and energy balance equations to the individual components. It is assumed that the flash tank is perfectly insulated and the potential and kinetic energy changes of refrigerant across each component are negligible. So we are not considering PE and KE. This system offers several advantages such as quality of refrigerant entering the evaporator reduces, thus giving rise to a higher refrigerating effect, lower pressure drop and better heat transfer in the evaporator. Second, throttling losses are reduced as vapor generated during throttling is separated in the flash tank and recompressed by the compressor 2. Third advantage is the volumetric efficiency of compressor will be high due to reduced pressure ratios. And the last advantage is compressor discharge temperature is reduced considerably. So these are the advantages of this multi-stage system with flash gas removal and intercooling. One disadvantage of the above system is that since the refrigerant liquid in the flash tank is saturated, there is a possibility of liquid flashing ahead of the expansion valve due to pressure drop or heat transfer in the pipelines connecting the flash tank to the expansion device. Sometimes this problem is tackled by using a system with a liquid subcooler. In a liquid subcooler, the liquid refrigerant from the condenser is subcooled by exchanging heat with the refrigerant liquid in the flash tank. As a result, a small amount of refrigerant vapor is generated in the flash tank, which needs to be compressed in the high stage compressor. Compared to the earlier system, the temperature of refrigerant liquid from the subcooler will be higher than the saturated liquid temperature in the flash chamber. That is because due to indirect contact heat transfer. However, since the refrigerant at the inlet to the expansion valve is at higher pressure and is subcooled, there is a less chance of flashing of liquid ahead of expansion valve. Next is about the use of flash tank for flash gas removal. Now we are using the flash tank for removing of flash gas. Intercooling of refrigerant vapor using water-cooled heat exchangers is possible in ammonia systems due to high discharge temperature of ammonia. However, it is generally not possible in systems using refrigerants such as R2L, R134a due to their low discharge temperatures. In this system, instead of passing the refrigerant vapor from the low stage compressor through a flash tank, the vapor from the flash tank is mixed with the vapor coming from the low stage compressor. As a result, the inlet condition to a high stage compressor will be slightly superheated. A two-stage compression system with flash tank for flash gas removal for refrigerants such as R134a Here it is shown, and also pH chart is also shown here. Next is the use of flash tank for intercooling only. Sometimes the flash tank is used for intercooling of the refrigerant vapor between the low and high stage compressors. There it is not used for flash gas removal. Now here figure shows the use of flash chamber here with intercooling or for intercooling, and also pH chart is drawn here. Next point is about the choice of intermediate pressure. So it is well known that for minimum total work, the intermediate pressures are decided by the stage pressure ratios. Stage pressure ratio, which should be R equal to Pk upon P0 raised to 1 by N, where N is the number of stages. If there are in a two-stage system, this gives a geometric mean value for the intermediate pressure in equation, that is Pi equal to root Pk P0. Similarly, Pi equal to root Pk P0 Tk upon T0. Here we will see later. First we'll discuss about this equation. This condition is true for complete intercooling to a initial temperature. In the refrigeration system, complete intercooling is not possible as it is done by ambient water of air. Also, it is seen that the discharge temperature of low stage is much lower than the discharge temperature of the high side. To reduce the discharge temperature of the higher stage, the pressure ratio of the lower stage can be increased with a corresponding reduction in the pressure ratio of the higher stage. Now here the second equation is recommended for determining the intermediate pressure in refrigeration systems. It is realized that the choice of intermediate pressure is not very critical. It is different from the optimum. Then the work of one stage will be increased while that of another stage will be decreased. In the final analysis, the total work will not be much different from the minimum. Okay. Now the next point is about the complete multi-stage refrigeration system. A complete two-stage compression system with flash gas removal and flash intercooling is shown in this figure, and its pH diagram also. It may be noted that a part of the heat of low stage compression can be removed by water intercooling. In case the discharge temperature from the stage is substantially higher than the cooler water temperature. So by using a flash gas removal and water and the flash intercooling, we will consider it as a complete multi-stage compression system. Here flash chamber is there, water cooler is there. Okay, so that will complete the multi-stage compression system, which requires to be improve the efficiency of the cycle. Okay, we will stop here. We will continue with the next evaporator, multi-evaporator system in the next lecture. Thank you.